Hello, today I will present to you a crisis communication project. My name is Epeval Taylor and this is Instructional Leadership 574. Mitigation and Prevention. In this section, we will discuss the steps we are to take to start brainstorming for a crisis. What can we do to prevent a disaster from occurring? The simple answer is to the question is we can't. The world is full of people that intend on causing harm to others. The only thing that we can do is plan for a disaster. The first steps in planning for a disaster is look for things on campus that may pose a danger in the event a disaster may occur and take the necessary steps to correct it. Examples include a blocked doorway, obsolete school maps, and old windows. Make sure to have regular and impromptu fire drills for faculty and students monthly. Also, having lockdown drills would help the staff. The staff and students need to know what to do in case of an emergency arises. What do you do in the event a crisis is man-made? The first step in any crisis is to be proactive. Next, know your students and if anything has changed in that student, whether it is behavior or personality. Teachers are normally the first line of defense because they see the students first and can usually tell if something is bothering them. Our goal is to prevent situations from occurring, especially if we have picked up that something is wrong with the student. Preparedness. The Boy Scout motto is be prepared. We need to have a plan and practice the plan routinely. Practicing the drills routinely will, in most cases, take fear out of the situation. Some of the people or agencies that should be included in the plan are community stakeholders, local police, EMS, and the fire department. If everyone is on the same page, then the probability of the situation escalating decreases. Lives are spared when communication is clear and constant between all parties. Communication is key. There needs to be a plan in place for getting information out to parents and other stakeholders in the event of an emergency. There also needs to be a plan in place for contacting first responders and other crucial personnel. The drills need to be rehearsed monthly to make sure there are no breakdowns in the system if something was to occur. What do I do? Your staff is crucial here because they know the school, the students, and who doesn't belong at the school. Assign each member of the faculty a role during a crisis. You can assign anyone that is CPR and first aid certified to the work triage. Use your staff's knowledge to your advantage. If your school is positioned in a neighborhood, involve the neighbors in the plan. Having somewhere for students to go for shelter could also be a huge help in a crisis. Supply inventory. The people in charge, such as a school nurse, needs to make sure the school has enough supplies on hand to be self-sufficient in an emergency. If the first responders are delayed, the school staff needs to be able to maintain first aid and medical care until the first responders arrive on the scene. Response. Always expect the unexpected. Number one, always be prepared for any situation that may arise. Follow the plan and make sure your staff does as well. The plan has been tested and rehearsed, so it should be adhered to. Number two, never use an inappropriate response for a situation. If a situation can be handled before it escalates, then the plan may not need to be activated. And number three, be decisive when making a decision. Time is of the essence when faced with a decision. Remember, teamwork is key. Your staff is likely going to be more scared than the students, so be mindful of that. You must be specific with your commands, but also be compassionate when issuing the commands. You are the leader, and everyone is looking to you for leadership. Teachers will be able to execute the plan if they see that you trust and believe the plan will work. Accountability and documentation. You should have a method for the release of students during a crisis. When word spreads for the ongoing crisis, your office will be flocked with phone calls from parents trying to get their child out of school. Your office staff should have a rehearsed plan for dealing with the situation. When you have de escalated the situation, be sure to write everything down. Also, make sure that any teachers involved writes down what happens as well. File these statements and be prepared to turn them over to the proper authorities when they ask for them. Recovery. At this time, getting the school back to the normal routine is the task. When the crisis has been resolved, staff and students need to get back to the normal routine as quickly as possible. A team of trained individuals need to be in place to help students and teachers that may struggle with the incident that has occurred on campus. Normalcy is the key to getting the school back on track. Don't rush things. Although the school has worked extremely hard to get the school back to business, and you cannot simply act like the situation never happened. Allow teachers and students to discuss it openly. This will help them work through their fears. Be mindful that dealing with a situation such as this could have lasting effects on the students and teachers. It will take time for the school to heal. Evaluate. Always evaluate your plan. Find out what worked, find out what did not work, what things need improving. This is the opportunity to look at the plan in its entirety. You want to view the plan to see what steps to be added to prevent a crisis from reoccurring. I appreciate you listening to my presentation, and I hope it was very informative to you. Thanks.